Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into how to truly master a beloved Southeastern classic, Kluay Buat Chi, or Thai bananas and coconut milk. Now, if you've had this dessert, you know it's incredibly comforting. And honestly, on paper, it looks so simple, right? It's literally just bananas, sugar, and coconut milk. But as anyone who's actually tried to make it can tell you, getting it right is a whole different ballgame. So today, we're unpacking some brilliant insights from Thai culinary expert Mind C, and we are going to learn her exact fail-proof secrets for nailing this recipe every single time. Look, have you ever tried making a fruit-based coconut dessert at home, only to just stare into the pot feeling totally defeated? It is the ultimate beginner fail. You picture this beautiful, pristine white broth with perfect golden bananas. But instead, you end up with a murky mess. The bananas have turned into absolute mush, they look gray or terribly bruised, and there's this super unappetizing slick of oil just pooling on the top. It's incredibly frustrating, especially when there are so few ingredients involved. Well, don't worry, because this explainer is going to give you the exact solutions you need to conquer this dish. By the time we wrap up today, you'll know precisely how to get those bananas perfectly chewy and beautifully bright. No more dark, mushy mess. Plus, we are going to completely solve the mystery of getting that silky, pure white, uncurdled coconut milk broth. So no mush, no oil slicks, just pure perfection. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, choosing your ingredients. Like any minimalist recipe, your results are going to completely depend on building the right foundation. So the ingredient list is short, but every single item plays a massive role. You're going to need namwa bananas, fresh coconut milk, a bit of salt, and pandan leaves for that amazing aromatic lift. But take a close look at the sugars here. Mei Si uses a very specific combination of both white sugar and palm sugar. Now, sure, you could technically just use white sugar if you're in a pinch, but mixing in that palm sugar, that's a huge pro tip. It doesn't just make it sweet, it creates this uniquely soft, nuanced, and beautifully fragrant flavor that really elevates the whole bowl. Let's talk about the absolute star of the show, the banana. You can't just grab any everyday Cavendish banana off the supermarket shelf for this. You really need namwa bananas, which is a specific Thai variety that's a bit thicker and denser. And ripeness is everything here. You want perfectly ripe ones where the peel is fully yellow. Why? Because hitting that exact stage of ripeness guarantees a texture that's wonderfully soft and sweet, but it has enough structural integrity that it won't just turn to mush in the pot. And hey, if you can only find slightly unripe ones, don't sweat it. The secret prep method we're about to cover will actually save them. Now, what about the coconut milk? So traditional Thai recipes rely on fresh coconut milk, which naturally separates into the thick head, that's the rich, creamy first press, and the thin tail, the more watery second press. Mei Si uses freshly squeezed milk to get that concentrated head. But let's be real. What if you only have boxed or canned coconut milk? It is totally fine. For the head, just use it straight out of the box. And to create the thin tail for your base broth, simply mix that boxed milk with plain water in a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a super smart, beginner-friendly workaround, so literally anyone can do this. Moving right along to Section 2, secret number 1, the banana prep. What's absolutely fascinating here is the counterintuitive prep method that changes pretty much everything about how these bananas behave. If your instinct is to just peel a banana, chop it up, and throw it straight into the coconut milk, stop right there. That is a guaranteed one-way ticket to Mushville. Here is Mei Si's massive secret. First, just trim the very ends off the bananas and mush them. Then, and this is the crazy part, you boil them completely whole, right in their skins, in boiling water over medium heat for 15 solid minutes. After that, immediately yank them out and shock them in a bowl of ice water to completely stop the cooking process. Only after they're totally cooled down do you finally peel them and cut them into bite-sized quarters. Now, if you're boiling bananas in their skins for 15 minutes, you're going to see some pretty weird stuff happen in that pot. The skins will actually start to split and crack wide open. Mei Si directly addresses this because, honestly, it freaks a lot of beginners out. She says, don't panic if the banana skins crack while boiling, it's completely normal. So stay strong, don't pull them off the stove early. Just let them do their thing. Okay, so why in the world do we go through this bizarre boiling ritual? What's the actual payoff? Well, first, it draws out the natural sap from the banana, which completely eliminates any harsh or bitter taste, even if your bananas weren't perfectly ripe. Second, it locks in the color, meaning absolutely no black or gray oxidized bananas in your beautiful dessert. And honestly, The biggest reason? This pre-boiling alters the starch structure. It is the ultimate secret to giving the bananas that incredibly satisfying signature chewy texture, rather than having them dissolve into a sad, mushy paste. All right, section 3, creating the sweet base. Let's get to the cooking phase and see how we build this fragrant broth. We've got our perfectly prepped bananas. Now we need the liquid gold they're gonna swim in. The absolute key word here is gentleness. You want to set your stove to medium-low heat, toss in a little bundle of Tide pandan leaves for that incredible aroma, and then add in both your white and palm sugars. Next, pour in your thin tail coconut milk, and here's where you have to pay attention. Stir constantly. You've got to keep it moving over that gentle heat until every single granule of sugar has completely dissolved, making sure you have a perfectly smooth base. Once it's unified, you just add your beautiful, chewy banana pieces and give it all a gentle stir. And that brings us to the finishing touch in section 4. Secret number 2, achieving that smooth coconut milk. The base is hot, the bananas are in, and now it's time to add the thick, rich head coconut milk. This brings us to our second huge secret, which is entirely about heat management. This right here is the make or break moment for Thai coconut desserts. Once that thick coconut milk goes in, you're looking for a very specific visual cue. You want to bring the liquid to a gentle bubble, just tiny little bubbles forming right around the edges of the pot. You must, under absolutely all circumstances, avoid a vigorous rolling boil. If the center of your pot is bubbling aggressively, you've gone way too far. Because if you let it reach a rolling boil, you trigger a reaction called curdling, or in Thai, tek mon. Basically, the emulsion breaks. The natural oil in the thick coconut milk violently separates from the water. So instead of a luxurious, silky, pristine white broth, you end up with this broken, watery liquid topped with a super unappealing, greasy layer of coconut oil. Turning off the heat the exact second those gentle edge bubbles appear is non-negotiable if you want a creamy, visually stunning dessert. When you combine the pre-boiling of the bananas with that meticulous heat control for the coconut milk, the payoff is just spectacular. You wind up with the ultimate bowl of Kluay Buat Chi. Imagine perfectly intact, bright, genuinely chewy pieces of banana suspended in a sweet, delicately fragrant, and flawlessly silky white coconut broth. It's rich, it's balanced, and thanks to these techniques, there's not a hint of astringency or grease in sight. It's really fascinating, isn't it? How just a couple of counterintuitive steps, like boiling a banana whole in its skin or knowing the exact second to kill the heat, can completely transform a dish from a frustrating failure into an absolute masterpiece. It kind of makes you wonder, what other everyday cooking struggles we face in our modern kitchens could be instantly solved just by tapping back into the deep, traditional wisdom of classic culinary secrets? Definitely something to think about the next time you're stuck in the kitchen. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy cooking!